Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you the best attack strategy for Builder Hall 4 and how to pretty much 2-star just about any base. So let's go ahead and take a look at the army composition. So what it's going to consist of is it's going to be barbarians, archers, and giants. Now the amount of each troop can vary, but usually it's at least one army camp full of each. So in the first one, and the most common one for me, is 20 barbarians, 6 archers, and 2 giants. So basically the whole goal of it is to use the barbarians to lure any traps or anything, test out the funnelings for the other troops, and then what you really want to have happen in the end is have the giants go in towards the base, followed up by the archers and barbarians. So what I do at the start is I always drop the archers on the outside, clearing off any buildings to create a funnel towards the inside of the base, as you saw, and utilizing the archer's cloak ability, which will either be for 5 or about 7 depending on the level you have them. And then I'm going to use the barbarians to help break through the wall. I don't want the giants, forget what it's called, but the super punch to be wasted on a wall. So I want to break in with the barbarians and then drop the giants to go inside the base, followed up by the rest of the barbarians and the archers. Now, whenever you see any big bomb areas or any bomb areas at all, don't send in all your barbarians at once or all your troops. Make sure you test it with one barbarian, 1 or 2, just to get a feel for it and make sure that there are no traps. So in the second one here, this time I only have 1 army camp full of barbarians and then 2 full of archers. You can change it up depending on which base you're going up against. Basically, if you're going up against a crusher, you don't want to use as many giants or barbarians. And in this case, the crusher is on the outside, so I decided to go with 2 army camps of archers, just so that I can take it out before I drop my giants and barbarians. So as you can see there, I test out with 1 barbarian. It ends up getting flung back and then hit by a spring, luring the bomb, but the spring trap ends up blowing it away from it. So that is all good. So I drop the giants to distract the cannon while the archers snipe over the wall. As you can see, the archer tower and cannon were distracted by the giants, and then the archers followed up by the barbarians going straight through the base. Now knowing that there are no traps to be dealt with, I can just spam them all right there. So having the giants die, that is okay. The archers and barbarians still are quite ruthless and can do a great deal by themselves. So basically all you want to check for is any possible bomb areas, usually when they have an opening in the walls like they do in the top left there. That typically means they'll have at least a spring trap or at least a bomb, so just make sure you're careful and worrisome of that. Anyways, my phone ended up dying right before I finished that recording, but anyways, jumping to the next one. So this time back to the 20 barbarians, 6 archers, and 2 giants. So creating the funnel, I drop all my archers utilizing their cloak ability, and then I'm going to drop a giant to tank for that cannon while the archers snipe over. Probably the hardest part about this strategy is funneling your archers, because typically they can walk around the base picking off buildings. However, so basically just drop your giants before they start walking around so that they can distract as many defenses as possible. And then make sure only a few barbarians at a time, and then once you know the coast is clear, that is when you can drop the rest of the barbarians. So here, another tip I do have is also always try and attack from the opposite side of the crusher if possible. As you saw in the last replay, I made sure to take it out first. If you can do that with only using a few archers, definitely do that. It's a great strategy, and it usually results in a high percentage 2-star, but typically I will attack from the opposite side, as you can see here. So I drop my archers on the outside, and then I'm going to drop 1 test barbarian, test for any bombs on that outside area. Then I'm going to drop about 6 or 7 more just to break through that wall. Big bomb goes off, but that's not a big deal because I still have 12 more raged barbarians coming in behind them, plus the giants, which are out front tanking for everything, and then a few archers still left alive. Actually, all 6 are alive still, and they're going to lock onto that builder hall while I still have 1 giant up and tanking. And as you can see, that the crusher is going to be one of the last defenses my troops go for, which is ideal because you don't really need a 3-star. Typically, no one will be getting 3-star, and your base won't be getting 3-star either. And if you need a good base that will almost never get more than 1-star, which will make these attacks even more liable and everything like that, go ahead, check out my recent video. I'll show you guys the bases that I've been using that have never been more than 1-star really, unless I'm upgrading a defense. But anyways, jumping into the next attack. So a bit of a weirder base. I can see the openings on the bottom left side, so I know my giants are probably going to walk towards those. So I'm going to go ahead, pick off some buildings on the outside, and then drop the giant to tank for the rest of the troops. I'm going to follow in with a few test barbarians just to pick off those outside troops. I meant to lure that spring trap with my barbarian, but my giant beat me to it, but that is okay. I still have one left over. And then I'm going to go ahead and spam the rest of my barbarians in. Already almost at 50%. While everything is being distracted by that giant, the barbarians are going to go make their way to that builder hall and swiftly take it out. As you can see, most of my troops completely avoid that crusher, helping me get that 2-star. So basically, always try to attack from the opposite side of the crusher, and things will typically go well. As long as you know your barbarians won't path towards the crusher, that is pretty much the main goal, because the barbarians are the heart and soul of this attack. They help you break through the wall, they create that funnel, and they are typically the ones that destroy the base. Anyways, this next base, you can see the opening up by the top left by the crusher, so I'm going to go ahead and try and attack from that bottom right, staying away from it, knowing that'll be one of the last structures that I end up having to take care of. So I'm going to drop the archers right on top of that cannon. While they're under that cloak, the cannon won't touch it, and then I'll go ahead, test for some bomb areas. Pays off as there was a big bomb there with just one barbarian, and then I drop a few other ones to create that funnel, take care of those, I want to say clan castle troops, but just those guard post troops, and I'm going to break through that wall, drop both giants, and then I'm going to drop the rest of my archers and barbarians right behind them. So giants, they don't have to waste their super punch on a wall, which is awesome. So that means they can pretty much 2 or 3 shot those defenses, which is ideal and makes for a good raid, which typically results in a 2-star. And there you can see it, the giants are still tanking for the barbarians, so they're going to swiftly take out that builder hull once again. So I've been consistently getting these 2-stars, you guys, on pretty much just about any base. I've done it against builder hull 5s as well. I went undefeated almost, actually. I went on a 10-win streak at one point, which was awesome. I was doing it while I was out, so I wasn't able to record any of them. But anyways, here's a popular base design with the dead zone double layer wall on the left side, and then the crusher and then a little opening on the bottom right. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead, take out those army camps, create that little funnel, and then I want to use the barbarians to take care of, to get me in through the walls on the top left. So this time I have 4 giants and then just 1 army camp full of barbs and archers. That is because I know once I get through that wall, the giants will be able to walk around, taking out all those defenses without having to worry about that crusher. So big bomb hits those giants, but barely even affects them at all. And as you can see, all I have left is 2 archers and 2 barbarians. That wasn't smart on my part, but it still ends up paying off since I have 4 giants completely tanking for everything. All 4 giants are still up. A few of them at the top are on a sliver of health, but that is okay. Then I have the barbarian and the archers shooting in as support for them. And you'll see in a sec here, I will be able to pull off that 2-star with a 50%. As you can see, the crusher has such a small range that it can't defend any of the other structures, so that is ideal for me. And yeah. So we'll see here, about 5 more seconds. That's about as far as we're going to get into this raid, 53%. And usually, almost always, a 2-star is enough to win you the raid, especially if you have a good base on defense. That is one of the most important things in this. Other than good attacking, obviously defense is really important as well, if not more important. Anyways, back to the regular attack strategy with 2 army camps full of barbarians. And some of these attacks, they're all kind of spread out when I had different troop levels. Right now I only have level 6 barbarians, level 7 archers, and level 5 giants. So you can always, if you have higher level troops, you'll probably do better. If you have lower level troops, you could still do this, but it might be a bit tougher. And I still believe right now, right now in the game, I still only have level 6 barbarians, and they're still killing it, so that's awesome. So once again, attacking from the opposite side of the crusher, and then I have my other troops to pick off the extra buildings, and the barbarians that go straight for the builder hall. So it's pretty much the same story over and over again for every base. You can do this on almost every base, but I also have a few other attack strategies that are really great at exposing certain defenses. So I'll go ahead and share those in another video because this one's going to be about 10 minutes already as it is. So I'll go ahead and show that to you guys later. So this one is against a builder hull 5, so a lot more walls, a few more defenses, but it was still able to pull off that 2 crown or 2-star. So once again, attacking from the opposite side of the crusher, I cannot stress that enough. Like I said, unless you can pick it off really easily with a few archers. So I test for some big bombs, and then after I know there are none left, I can just drop the rest of the barbarians to make a beeline straight for that builder hull, followed up by the giant to tank for a few of those archers that are still left, and those barbarians are just going to go ahead and smash their way through that builder hull. So anyways, just to recap, basically attack from the opposite side of the crusher when possible. always create that funnel with the archers, and then use a few test barbarians, and then use about 5, 6, or 7 to bust through that wall, drop the giants, and then follow up with the rest of your troops. The giants are meant to tank, they're not really meant to go ahead and destroy stuff, so make sure that they are keeping as many of your other troops alive as possible. You want your archers to stay alive, and then barbarians, if you lose a few, that's okay, because you have about 10 of them per army camp. But yeah, and then change up the army camp as you see necessary, or whatever you feel more comfortable with. It really is your attack, so do what you're comfortable with. And anyways, video is getting kind of long, so I'm just going to call it quits right now, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.